Yes, my G's, what is going on? It's your boy Turno here, hoping to shed some positive vibes with the current situation going on. I hope you're all keeping clean. I hope you're all keeping in contact with your loved ones. But yeah, I thought I'll hopefully shed some information your way. Hopefully you'll learn something from the next hour or so. I'm going to go through my latest single, which come out last Friday. Plug. Osiris, which is kind of I suppose like a signature Turno tune with a bit of a 2020 twist. So I'm going to play it first for those who don't know, and then we're going to get into it.
The curse of the Pharaohs.
Yes, so yeah, basically that is a slapper. Like, yeah, people that know music know that that's going to be kind of something. Well, yeah, it's a kind of signature Turno tune. So yeah, I use Logic Pro X. I have done for my whole career. To be fair, done it at college, went to university and did it, and just used it ever since. It has got a couple things that are a bit long about it, but to be honest with you, I know how to use it, and it's worked for me so far. So yeah, let me just break down this section here for you. This is the main arraign page. I have track stacks, which basically are folders, which I put my tracks into, because this track has got 160 channels in. So as you can imagine, it does get a bit of a mazza when you're trying to find your kick drum or your snare drum. So I make sure I name everything, put it in folders. Just for workflow, really. Like, you want to be able to, these are the little tricks you pick up as you, I suppose, start to produce little hacks or whatever, just to make the workflow a lot quicker and easier. I also use a multimeter, also an analyzer to some people. This is a Logic one. I swear by this. Anyone who doesn't use an analyzer in their productions, I just feel like you need to, man. If you can do it without, fair play, and get a banging mix down, then let me know how you do it, my G. But trust me, multimeter or an analyzer, just to analyze what's coming in so you can see where everything is. So you can clearly see the sub is around there, kick drum around there, snare slapping around 250, mid bass is around there, top end. It's just a visual representation of what is going on. So you can't hear everything, unfortunately, so it just helps me. I know where to get to volume-wise with this. I just know where things need to go. So yeah, I would definitely learn how to use one if you don't use one already in your productions. I'm just going to move this out of the way for the moment. So yeah, drums. I'm going to go through first. So I'm going to mute these two groups. So yeah, to be honest, on this track, and I got a big up in Manu, yeah, because I watched this tutorial and on how to make drums and stuff on Serum. I followed it, and yeah, man, I got some wicked results. So big up, my G. But yeah, basically, I synthesized the kick and the snare on Serum, and I then run it through. I've got like a Culture Vulture, I've got like an SSL channel strip as well, a couple bits of hardware. So I run it through there, compressed it, saturated it, etc., etc. Basically put my sound onto it. And then I've done about 8 or 9 different variations of these kicks and snares. So now I have like a folder of kicks and snares I can use at my own will. So you hold tight, Manu, my G. So yeah, so this is the kick and snare. Let's go from there. And again, if you look at the frequency analyzer, you can see they're already kind of like covering a lot of area, and the transients or the fundamentals are really kicking through. So we've got power, precision, and also it's covering a lot of the frequency spectrum. So it means we have to do less work with other sounds. So in this case, it worked well for me. I also have a clap player, just to add a bit of texture. I've got another clap player, which is like 3 claps variating. Just again, variation. And I also have an organic snare underneath here. So all together, I've got a little reversed and a little end of bar, just to keep it moving. reverb. Ooh, back in. So yeah, that's how I do that. Nothing too complicated processing wise, to be fair, because I've done most of it outside of the box. So I brought it in, it's already loud, it's already, yeah, there's buses and stuff, but I'll go into them in a little bit. So yeah, I've just got an EQ on the main snare, the fundamental, just to boost that fundamental at 250 and then take a bit of top play. Nothing crazy, bro. The rest of the stuff is pretty simple. I use bit crushers and that quite a lot to get crunch out of sound. So you'll see that on some of my channels for sure. I don't really like clean sounds. I like to dirty them up some way, whether it's via saturation or something, but I just like to have that sound on there. So let me go on to the percussion quickly. And again, it's not crazy amounts going on here because the frequency spectrum's already taken up. I'll play this. This is quite interesting. I have this underneath as like a little layer. And it's just, sorry, I was having a drink. It's just literally filling out the top end. It's like a weird noise layer. I've got a Kickstarter on it. So it's, yeah, it's just a noise layer, which I've got movement through this Kickstarter on like a sidechain kind of plugin. Got a little shaker in there, main hat loop, couple of bits of offshot percussion, a little bit of an open hi-hat there. And that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy, man. But it just all works together with the drums perfectly. So it works for me. So I've got also here crush hat, which is basically just a distorted hi-hat. And it adds lovely texture. Without it, you can really notice it, man. I mean, it really does fill out that area for sure. So yeah, again, transition wise here, nothing like crazy what I'm doing. It's literally just an automated snare roll, nothing crazy. I've done a tonal layer underneath with a plugin just to kind of add some interest. The little tom roll at the end, and also I've done like a flanged kind of kick, which is again just to kind of make it a bit more interesting. Yeah, so back in, so nothing crazy there, man. Yeah, added a couple breaks, nothing crazy. This is something again that's quite simple, but some people may not know this. I don't know, so I thought I might as well share it. If I want to render out, if I want to put an effect on a numerous amount of drum channels or whatever, it could be bass, anything, and I don't want to put it on a bus because it might be too complicated, or I want to go a bit wild with the effects and it will just interfere, I'll just render out that section like I've done here, and I can put the effects on. So I've got a bit crusher coming on, hear it. So yeah, so saving me from doing it via a bus, which is a bit of a headache, let's be honest. I can do it with audio, it doesn't affect anything, bang. Simple trick, but yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. Again, another example of that, what I've just spoke of, is another one here, which would be really hard to accomplish with a bus, like without it's really ruining the drums. Just a little transition. I'm pretty big on my transitions, like I do take them pretty seriously. But yeah, so that's kind of like the arrangement of the drums. Nothing really crazy out of the box. Processing wise, this is what I do. So I have buses. I've got buses and sends. Like difference between the two. Bus, if you're sending the whole output of the sound to another channel. So anything you put on that channel will affect that sound. With sends, you're basically adding a layer to the sound. Like it's like running a signal parallel to the output, so you get like a wet signal and a dry signal, so you can send as much as you want to that wet signal to that affected channel, which means that effect will be louder obviously in the mix. But I use it a lot to get thickness, to layers, to textures, etc. So I'll go through buses first. I have just a percussion bus, which then goes into a drum bus. So I'll talk about the percussion bus first. That's basically everything but the kick and snare. And then what I've got on there is I've got them side chaining to the kick and snare. It's very subtle, but it just adds a bit of swing, a bit of swagger. I do it pretty much in all my tracks. Like I find it just lets the kick and snare breathe a little bit as well. If I turn this off, you can hear it. It's only doing it by what, -9 or 9 dB, sorry. Yeah, it just sounds straight. When you have it on, it just kind of has more of a swagger, more of a pulse, and I just think it sounds much better, so I always do that. Slate Digital, like if you don't own these, like if these guys don't endorse me by the end of this flipping tutorial, then but like trust me, this plugin is crazy. Slate Digital are crazy. If you don't use them already, definitely check them out. They're just like hardware, emulations of hardware, but they're just the algorithms they got are mental. You can get a real 10% extra out of your tunes, and that's no joke, bro. People that have been having lessons with me, like, they know I've been singing the phrases on this plugin. So trust me, do yourself a favor. Everything bundle, I think it's like $12 a month, bro. Like, just go and do it, because it will change the game, bro. So yeah, this is a saturation plugin. It's nothing crazy going on, like parameter wise, really. I'm just adding a bit of color, just gluing things together. I've got like a Neve kind of EQ. I've just literally taken out the low end, and this plugin is really cool. It's 2 switches. One's for top end shimmer, one's for low end thickness. Simple as that. So I've just turned that up for a little bit of top end shimmer, basically. Then that is then routed to a drum bus where the kick and snare are also routed. So yeah, this is all of the drums now, the kick and snare and all the rest of the percussion. So now what my thought process is this: like, I'll process the sound singly, I'll then put them in their desired groups, so percussion, etc. And then I'll route them all to a final drum bus where I can really glue them together with like just extra processing. And the main thing I use is the vintage warmer, and that is like a emulation of a tape warmer back in the day, and it's really, really nice. Like, I get a real nice sound out of it. I've used these on used this plugin on probably, I don't know, the last 7 years of production. It's very rare I don't use it. I just find it just gives glue, it just gives a nice crunch. It gives a nice, like, I just love it, man. So yeah, this is what it sounds like without it on. I'll put it fully wet first so you can really hear it. See it as well. It does completely destroy the transient. As much as it doesn't actually sound that horrible, but that colour and character is what I want. So that's fully in the dry now. If I add about 30-40%, you can just really hear that organic snare getting pulled up in the mix, and just everything I just find just kind of glues together. And I use that a lot, man, a lot. It's just a really nice plugin. I've got another virtual mix rack on here. And I've just literally got another bit of shimmer on the drums. That's it. And then the old camel fat trick, for those who know, literally doing nothing but just shelving that master so it doesn't go over naught. So yeah, that's what I do with buses. Sends are simply, I have a distortion send and a reverb send. So I've got a parallel distortion send, which literally is just me really distorting the drums on a wet basis, and then just having it in the mix slightly. And you will notice that just like really just adds like another layer and depth to the drums. Really helps you hit them frequencies. It just reinforces everything. Again, you can do the same with parallel compression, but I didn't think the drums needed it really. The drums were slapping enough for me to not have to use them. So I thought I'd do distortion to add a bit of character, and I thought like it really worked. Here is the reverb, which again is just a wet signal. Simple stuff, but I don't really use reverbs on the channels, on the direct channels, unless I actually want the effect of that. But so this way it just adds a layer, and I've just got one reverb channel I've got one short one and one long one. So if I want to add whatever channel, if I want to add a little bit of reverb or a lot of reverb to a channel, I can just literally use the sends, whack, Bob's your uncle, boof. So yeah, that is the sends. And to be honest with you, drum wise, that's kind of it. Like, there's nothing really else going on crazy. Like, yeah, hopefully that was insightful. So yeah, let's go on to bass. There's quite a lot of layers to the bass. I'm going to play it on its own just so you can kind of hear it, just literally solo. Yeah, so it's pretty nuts. There's quite a lot going on. It just kind of flows quite nicely, and there's quite a lot of different sounds kind of working together. So I'm going to move this down here a little bit so you can see. So yeah, just overview, sub first. I made these actually on Phase Plant. Like, if you haven't looked at it, have a look at it. But trust me, geez, like, make sure you definitely watch the tutorial. It's definitely a head fuck. Like, if you're not, yeah, it's serum times 50. Like, even now, if I open it up after not using it for a week, I'm like, shit, how do I make a sound again? So it's good to like have a little watch, have a play with it. You can get some pretty nut stuff out of it, but Yeah, definitely worth having a look at that. So yeah, this is the sub. It's pretty ringing. I'm pretty happy with the sub on here. I've got like a little bit of a pitch bend on it as well, just to kind of, just because I thought it sounded cool, to be fair. A bit more interest in it. Nothing crazy going on. Sidechain, it's the kick and the snare, pretty standard stuff. I didn't think, well, basically the main noise didn't have enough low mids in it, so I added a low mid layer, which is just an harmonic, about 125, I think, yeah, 125. So you can really hear what that's doing. So now that fundamental can ring. If you take this away, they can really notice it. You know what I mean? So that is really important. That's kind of like that harmonic there, yeah, is like the soul of a tune in general. Like if you haven't got that there, your tune really sounds thin. So that low mid layer was needed there. That's why I did that. I've also got a white noise, just a texture really. I do it quite a lot just for. Yeah, just adds texture. There's a tear layer here, which is another tone, but it does make the sound. So without that, it wouldn't sound. It sounds pretty dead, to be fair. This is like just the old. So yeah, just quickly, just to show you that phase plant is really cool for. It's got a sampler as well. So this is actually one of my old sounds. Let me just turn my keyboard on. Should have been prepared, really. But yeah, so this is one of my old sounds. There you go. Which I resampled inside phase plant and obviously added effects, etc. to it. But yeah, what you can do is you can make your own folder by adding it there. As I've got bass there for my folder, and then I can just go. Let me copy it because it's going to change it. Yeah, just go into new wave, or let me go to riffs actually. And then what you do, you just go over one of your riffs, and it's in. You're in, bruv. Next sound. And it's so I mean, so you can go straight in, bruv, like next tune. Do you know what I mean? So the inspiration wise is pretty cool. You can just off the cuff get your old riffs and stuff. Like if people don't do this already, I definitely would advise it, man. Make yourself sample packs, like to bounce out your sounds, render them. Like I mean, you've got them all there. You've spent time making them, and the amount of stuff, how much you can change a sound like via a sample, like Contact, Form, Falcon. Like you can really manipulate it and change it into something else. Like it's for me, it's mad inspiring. I do a lot of my sound design like that. So yeah, this was kind of how this was created, really. And then I've made another oscillator. Let me get out of this. I made another oscillator with no output. A wavetable oscillator. So now that is frequency modulating the phase and the shift, which makes it have like a different. You've got like a whole new spectrum out of this sound that you've sampled from an old tune. So yeah, definitely get on that, man. If you lot don't really fuck with it already, basically. Excuse my French. But yeah, right, back to the tune. So yeah, also, and this is hold tight my GAMC for this one, bro. He's probably going to shoot me off. It's what are you telling him the secrets for, fam? Why? But this is like a nuclear, which is something he actually, yeah, he showed me this, bro. So hold tight, you my G. So yeah, this is like just like a bounce of the riff, and just with some mental like modulation on it, really, just like filtering chorus, like phasing and stuff, delays, and it just kind of sits underneath, just like as you would add a break to fill out like drums, like I guess. So yeah. No, yeah, I've noticed there's a click there and it's doing my nutting because I'm proper proud of my fading in and fading out, man. So yeah, that's embarrassing, man. For fuck's sake, Turno, you should have done better. But yeah, so this is like something I do as well. Again, nothing crazy, bro. It's just little transitional, like this is introduces the sound, like a bit of reverse verb and that. For that fucking click. But yeah, so that's got something I do quite a lot. I've also got all the mid basses side chaining with the kick and snare, so all the reverb tails and that kind of like move around as well, so it just gives again another little bit of swagger to the rhythm, and it kind of works with the kick and snare. I don't know, them little sonic touches, like I feel like they make the extra bit of effort, man, like for the listener, whether it's like little panning elements or whatever. I do it loads, man. I feel like, yeah, it adds like another level to the listener's pleasure, I guess. So yeah, where were we? Yeah. Also, so on this section here, another little reverb trick. I do it quite a lot. It's nothing, again, nothing crazy, but so yeah, just transition things like that. Helps each sound have its own breathing space, and just, I don't know, it just kind of glues it all together, I guess. What else have I really done? I've done, this is like a, again, nothing crazy. Like I do use automation quite a lot. So and again, I feel like it just adds, it's another way just to add your own stamp on a sound. So there I have this filter there, bit of reverb as well, and then this one kind of another sound coming in. Yeah, again, just little touches like that, man. Like them little extra little 1%. When you feel like your tune's done, just give it another little look in it. Just like them little touches that not half population ain't gonna notice. But trust me, man, that's the finesse. That's the little sprinkling, the seasoning on the top, bruv. Like, just to make it sound that extra little bit special. So yeah, I do that a lot. I do that a lot on my tunes, man. But once you get into it, man, it just kind of comes in. You just kind of clock it, and you're like, yeah, that needs to be done. That needs to be done. It sounds too. Again, things like here, there's similar things, man. Reverb, there's not really much else like really going on sound wise. Like this is pretty cool, I guess. This sound, that's just like a 3-layered Reese, man. Which I did make that in Falcon, but it's so much CPU. It might even be that, you know. No, it's not. So much CPU, I had to get rid of it. But so I bounced it out. So yeah, you can see it's 3 layers. That's obviously the sub. I've got another layer here, which is quite a lot of effects on it. And I have another layer, which is the notch one. Yeah, which is done all by Wow 2. Without that on it. Yeah. So yeah, the second section goes up a level. It's probably my favourite bit, to be fair. I just love that first little bit. Yeah, I'm feeling that. So yeah, that is again just done with reverb and stuff, man. Just to like, I think there's another transitional verb tail there. Yeah, so it just sucks in the next sound. It kind of gives you a bit of gives the other sounds more impact and stuff as well. So yeah, and then just on this final section, because it's again, there's not really much more I can say, to be fair, but yeah, here is like an extra addition of like a flanged kind of tone of it, I guess, so you can hear it in the mix. Yeah, that's it on its own. Just a little extra touch, really, nothing special. So yeah, the sub is sidechained to the kick and snare, and so is the rest of the mid, sorry. So everything kind of is. Send wise, have we got anything going on? Maybe a bit of reverb, yeah. So again, reverb, nothing crazy. And let's pause that number 10 one. Is there anything? It might be. Oh, do you know what? I do have. This is quite a crazy send, like, which just wakes up the top end. If I do it on, is it that one? Yeah, here we go. So yeah, it does make a difference. Yeah, wow, really. Jesus Christ, man, yeah, massively. So yeah, that is just like, yeah, just distortions, choruses, just trying to just emphasize the top end, I guess, and the width and stuff of the sound. So that's quite important. Also, do you know what? While I'm speaking about width, actually, on the drums, I'm not even on the drums, sorry, on the bass, side EQ, I make sure that I EQ. In this case, it was 243, but just you really don't want any of this space in stereo, man, unless you really want to look for problems, or I don't know. Some people go a bit lower, but it depends really. But each to their own. But I feel like, yeah, you don't want anything up until like 150 hertz in stereo at all. So yeah, so I do this with a plugin. So this way, I can just make sure everything underneath here is mono. This is all continuously how it is. So that's side EQ. So yeah, that's quite important as on a final bit of the chain, just to kind of make sure it's all leveled out and in the right place. So yeah, that's kind of bass. I'll quickly go for my intro. There's nothing crazy to really talk about in it, but it's more just like, it's probably the biggest part of the track, to be fair. Number wise, it's got like, well, yeah, 80 odd channels, which is pretty mental. But yeah, so I'll go through. I kind of approach it the same way as the bass and the intro and the drums, like different layers. I want to build a vibe. I want to take people on a journey. I want to export them to a place like the track already had like because of the kind of Egyptian samples, and I got it from a film called the Pyramid. It already had that kind of vibe. So I wanted to like set the scene. I wanted people to kind of be transported, similar to Asylum and other bits. Maybe I've done World's End, where like the intro is quite big, and I don't know, you feel kind of attached to it by the time it drops. So I wanted to create that kind of same atmosphere here. So with that, I've just layered loads of sounds. This is just like a atmospherical bit. Some Atmos panning to the left. I've got one on the right as well, which is a different sound. Then I just start to build, really. Like, this is just random things from trailers, some things from Splice, some things on my hard drive. Obviously, it's all in key, but just chucking in things, I think will kind of start to build the this picture I'm trying to create, I guess. Different bits. You've got this weird, like this is from the Pyramid, then this is from the Pyramid. Weird little sounds that start coming in, little hits, and here we go, starting to get a bit like, oh, what's going on, G? There you go, you can start to hear extras coming in. Arp and that now. Still got a bit of brass, there's so much in it, it's crazy. It's little touches. Even in the intro, if I go to the intro again, look, listen to, I've even got walking, this little walking. I've got a little rock moving as well. Hold tight the rock. Couple it's just that atmospherical stick, man, I guess, just to try and create that vibe. There's quite a lot going on. Hear the rock? Hey. See, like, them things there, no one's really going to notice them. Like, you might get one or a couple of dudes notice, but it's one of them things, the more you listen to this tune, or in general, like I try and do it on all my productions, hopefully clock a couple more things, so it keeps the listener engaged. Because for me, I have to do it for my own benefit, because otherwise I get bored. So, but I just think, doesn't have to be crazy changes, man. Like, yeah, but just little things, man. Like, just, I don't know. I just pride myself on the trend, just that kind of, yeah, that kind of vibe. So yeah, that's and the way I've kind of glued all these together it's just through like reverbs and delays and high passing and low passing, just filtering, just to make sure it all kind of works together. Like the ARP thing I played in on Falcon, and then I bounced it out after. It's nothing crazy, but it just adds a bit of, I suppose, urgency to, like, the first section is kind of setting the scene, second section is like, right, okay, we're en route now, innit? So you have to kind of add some more elements to kind of to translate that.
1922, Tutankhamun's tomb is open, and a series of horrifying deaths befall the excavation team. For the next 91 years, no other tombs are disturbed. Until now.
The one thing that's quite interesting about this section here, which I will quickly show you, is just the bass. I suppose the bass transitions, like, because if you listen, this is high passing in, also pitching down. This one comes in, starts to pitch up, and then this one starts to come in again.
Curse of the Pharaohs.
So yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. Like, I've really got much more I can say. Like, master wise, like, I've just got an Ozone, again, making sure that low end is mono, man, because this is quite cool. You can actually solo the low end or solo the band. Sorry, just even gonna play it. Yeah, so you can see, like, if I move this back up to where it was, there is still some stereo information lurking about. Yeah, see? Nah, bruv, I don't want that. So yeah, straight down, lock half the thing, and then that way it's mono, and then you do it. I also added a Slate Digital. This is literally just adding a bit of top end sheen. Apart from that, mate, all good. Nothing else going on. Yeah, man. Hopefully that was sick. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Man said sick, you know. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you took something away from it. Yeah, man. Let's keep it positive. If you were intrigued by lessons and you want to learn more, I do actually do private tuition. I've been doing it for over the last couple of weeks. So get in touch. Details might be like bottom of the screen or in the bio and that, but just email me at franco@timeisnowuk.com. Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, man. Keep it positive, man. Keep it clean. And let's keep moving, man. See you soon. Love.